Now, so something that I'd love to know more about is your title and what it all means. So, you're a data science developer advocate. It's been
Mm.
a long time since we've had anyone with a role like that on the show. So, what does that mean exactly? And how is it related to like a developer relations role, which I think is potentially something similar that I also hear about?
Mm.
And for our listeners out there who might be interested, what kind of data scientist or software developer becomes a developer advocate? How do you get into it?
Yeah. So developer advocacy is sort of different at each company. So basically, what it means at JetBrains is we're a point of contact between our community and the company. So, what we do is we go out and we talk to people in our community. We act as their kind of advocate within the company, hence the title. And we make sure that the tools that are being developed are actually suiting their needs. So, you can see in my day to day, I'm using the tools extensively because I need to understand what works, what doesn't. I also spend quite a lot of time going out and talking to people in the community. So I'll go to meetups, I'll go to conferences, I might work the booth in the conference. But it's also very important that I remain as a data scientist. So I also spend a lot of time researching topics and presenting on them. So some of those topics might be related to the tools, but a lot of the time it's not. So, for example, I just spent 2.5 weeks going between conferences and just doing conference presentations, and they had nothing to do with the tools really. So
Right.
that's, yeah, like it's sort of a way of making sure that obviously I keep my skills sharp and I understand what people are actually doing, but it's
Mhm.
also a way for the company to give back as well. Especially like within Python, it's super
Right.
important that, you know, we contribute back to a really huge open source community. Cool. So, yeah, to answer your question about the difference between developer advocacy and developer relations, my understanding is the titles are kind of interchangeable. Like you kind of
Got
get
it.
it from the name. Like it's about relationship, it's about advocating.
Right.
It really depends on the company what they want their developer advocates to do. So I work a little bit with our marketing department, but I like by design stay separate from them.
Right.
Whereas in some companies, you will have a much closer relationship with the marketing department. So I think
Right.
it's whatever your company needs, the size of the company, and the choice of the individual advocate, what they like doing.
Nice. So it sounds like potentially a great opportunity for listeners who have already become expert as data scientists. So, like, you
Hmm.
have an extremely strong background in data science. You have a PhD in applying data science to real world data, and then several data science roles over the years at a number of great companies. And so you can then move from that kind of role into one where you're keeping sharp, which sounds really cool. I'd love to just be able to invest time every week in keeping sharp on my data science skills. And then you get to present on those to audiences at conferences, on podcasts like this. And it's awesome that at least in your developer advocacy role, you get to have this great level of independence where you're not tied directly to marketing and where you can be doing presentations, it sounds like, on whatever you think is really exciting right now. It doesn't have to be directly related to products that JetBrain's developing.
Yeah, to be honest for me, it's it's kind of a dream job. So
There you go.
I I remember like about 3 months after I started, a friend of mine referred me to the company, and I remember telling her it feels like academia without the parts that I didn't like as much because obviously you don't have to write grants, you don't have to do publications, which I didn't enjoy so much.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's if it's a job that you're interested in getting into. I would definitely say just sort of establish with the company what they're looking for. But if you're a person
Mhm.
who's very self directed, you're
Mhm.
okay working because you won't really be on a team. You'll be more by yourself. So you're okay doing that.
Mhm.
And you really like the idea of constantly learning and also teaching, then I think it could be a really interesting role for anyone out there who yeah, as I said, already has found their niche and wants to sort of see what their next career move could be.